This is Kal Kat to the Kal Katster. Actually, there's enough lighting this evening. I went to see Bohemian Rhapsody this morning. There were a couple of previews, including the one for the Elton John Rocket Man movie and some sort of Diva Vox or whatever, the Vox lady movie. And so from the magazines. So yeah, a quickie review of Bohemian Rhapsody. Why not? I was looking up Bohemians and what they were because they mentioned Bohemians and the other thing in anticipation of having seen the trailer for this movie. The Bohemians and Beatniks. Beatniks were actually sort of first, but yeah. Well, the term Bohemian comes from the 1900s, the late 1900s in France, and they were any kind of disenfranchised existential person. They could be wealthy and trying to be poor. They could be just anything that's not pro-establishment. Basically, anti-establishment people. And they would hang around in French coffee shops and things, do things that other people wouldn't do. That evolved into, in the States, and mainly in England, with tea houses, and in the States with tea and coffee houses as well, where the Bohemians would go there. The Beatles and the Beatniks, they get that name from kind of a similar source. They kind of have the same idea, so they're similar, but they're cousins. And the Bohemians were also a group of people, indigenous people, to a part of a country that's like now Turkey or something, but somewhere around there, Hungary and Turkey and the gypsies. It's where the alleged gypsies came from. Anyway, so, but Rhapsody is something else. That's a French word. But yes, yeah, Bohemian Rhapsody. So, yeah, so this movie, Bohemian Rhapsody, is sort of a jokey term by Queen to address one of their albums that was also referenced in Wayne's World 2. So, 1 and 2. Whoever had a friend that was totally metal, Jim Chacon, totally metal, heavy metal and stuff, and he had a Queen album, and he had an ABBA album, and as well, at his, it was a birthday party a couple of years ago. I think his 30th birthday party or something. Many years ago then. 40th birthday party. I think it was 40. Yeah, it's 40. And he was like, oh, I'm kind of embarrassed. I didn't mean to show you. I'm really metal. It's like, oh, no, Queen is cool. ABBA and Queen are cool. I like ABBA and Queen. Oh, yeah, that's cool. Oh, I have some other ones too. They're not really that metal. Apparently not. No, they had some good guitarists in there and stuff. A lot of their songs inspired some Kal Kat songs, but only inspired. I'm clearly not even remotely a good musician when it comes to that. But yeah, so I saw the Queen movie. I saw Bohemian Rhapsody, Freddie Mercury movie. Kind of like the Star is Born movie or like the Justin Bieber movie, but not so much the One Direction movie. The rise of the band Queen, which started out called The Teeth. They're a English rock band, taking off of the Beatles just a few years after the Beatles, and trying to be their own thing. And they had a lot of similarities to Frank Zappa, actually, from the same time period. A lot of experimental stuff, using coins on the drums, doing cool lick riffs with like violins thrown in, or throw a sax in there or something. Doing operatic la 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 oh Galileo, da da da, and of course We Are the Champions and all that. Queen and the Hair Bear rock generation rock band thing. They were definitely in the middle of that, and they had like the fright wigs and stuff until 80, in which they got rid of the fright wigs. But yeah, 80, 81, 82, they were like different. They were at Live Aid in '85, and that was the end of the movie. No spoilers though, because it's a biopic about Freddie Mercury. Um, I read a review online about it, being a little unfair to the movie, and I also read Mike Myers was talking about being a composite character in the movie, playing the front man. There were actually two or three of them, but in the movie they had it just be him, not the Halloween guy, but Mike Myers, the guy from Wayne's World, is and he's in it and playing two or three different people, but trying to play it like it's one composite character. Kind of like in Dunkirk, they had a composite character of the commander on the beach, but it was actually three different people. There was like seven under him, seven others. So it's kind of like that. The article was annoyed that the article writer was annoyed that the announcement of him having AIDS at one point was not in the proper time period. Of course, it was a little off by a year or two, but they wanted to end the movie in '85, so they kind of had to go there early. Hollywood took liberties with that. '87, but okay. No, they went to Live Aid and then they turned. Live Aid was, let's see, from my vantage point, I was about 10 years old when MTV started, 10 or 11, and they had some of the first music videos, and they were one of the first people to get a music video banned. That was the drag queen one, but I saw it on MTV, so that was before they banned it. The Galileo and the other one, the Champions one, they weren't banned. Well, they had to play shorter versions of the 6-minute one. But there was a concert video that they did for, I think, HBO, that they did all of them. So this has been their Freddie Mercury story has been done a couple times. This movie is the first one to do the thing. Not sure if I probably have some Queen in the playlist somewhere. I mean, everybody kind of does. Like the Beatles, they're still popular after like 40, 50 years. So now at this point, 35 years. Almost 40 years. 70 to 72 to, 40 years. Around there. 45 years even. So it was fine. The critics were kind of like iffy about it. 65%, 70%. I think it was a little better than that. I give it an 80%. I say it's fine. It's good. It's a good movie. The guy playing Freddie Mercury does a really good job, and they should give him an Oscar. A really good job playing Freddie Mercury. I should probably look that dude up. Yeah, I should do that. Bohemian Rhapsody. The movie poster is really boring. The poster is. Let's see what was annoying. They got Rami Malek to play him. So 10 years ago they were trying to do this movie and they were going to get Sacha Baron Cohen. That would have not been good. The Rami Malek works way better. So they have to get somebody that fits the part. It would have been too funny. He's got the charisma, but he doesn't quite have the, So, there's very energetic band stuff, and moves and things, freak dancing. They pretty much invented the super freak, the dance. Pretty much, done that. Super freaky. All that stuff. They were Queen. They were named after the Queen of England, but they're also queens. They addressed that in the movie. Yes, if you're squeamish about dudes and mustaches, 70s style porn stashes, making out, probably don't want to see it. But why would you be in a Bohemian Rhapsody movie to begin with if you didn't want to see that? So I was there like, nobody in the theater that I saw with was shocked at them having Like they shouldn't have been, because it's about a gay hair bear band, and from the that later went a little more mainstream with their hair in the 70s and 80s, and they're still around. Well, in some way or another. Freddie Mercury died in 91 of AIDS complications, but lead. But the other ones are still around. Yeah, and they helped with the production, so it wasn't that far off. Hollywood took some liberties with some of the stuff, and the Live Aid is basically the last third of the movie. I remember the Live Aid thing. I was 15 when that came out. Yeah, so 85. Yeah, I remember the "We Are the World" thing for the Earth one too. I think that was yeah. That was Live Aid. Yeah, the end of it. It was Stevie Wonder. That was somebody else. Anyway, but yeah, it was all of them singing. I remember that, and all that, and the crazy Freddie Mercury stuff and the rag stuff. Probably was the inspiration for that scene in Star Crackers. Yeah. Drunk Freddie Mercury. This beard, mustache. Actually, the mustache guy in Star Crackers kind of looked like Freddie Mercury's boyfriend. Wasn't supposed to be, but yeah. And he had a girlfriend too, so he's technically bi. Although at one point, he comes up to his girlfriend and comes out. He says, I've got something to tell you. I might be bi. I think I'm bi. And she looks at him and says, no, Freddie, you're gay. Oh. And then she sort of walks up. Freddie, gay. But yes, that was funny. There were some funny lines in that. But no, he's bi because he has a girlfriend for a little while. He's mostly gay, but somewhat bi. Yeah, so Queen, the Queen movie. Yeah, it was fine. It was cool. 79, 80%. Yeah. Definitely the actor, this Malik guy, yeah. Rami Malek. What's he been in? Definitely looks the part. It's kind of short though. So what's he been in? Rami Malek. But yeah. It's in a TV series called Mr. Robot. See, he's an old boy. He was in Twilight Breaking Dawn as Benjamin. 24. He's been in a lot of stuff. Night at the Museum. Gilmore Girls. Halo 2. Voice actor. He was in Battleship. He's the watch officer. He was an old boy. Need for Speed. He was the voice of Tabno in The Legend of Korra, a sequel to Avatar: The Last Airbender. Yeah, right. Okay, so yeah, he was in Legend of Korra and Gilmore Girls. Anyway, so yeah, maybe reading it off camera. It's kind of weird, but well. You probably don't need to keep that part. Yeah, so I don't know. I was going to say cool Queen songs in it. But the part of the album here somewhere. Hey, do I have any Queen on this machine? Songs from Song Directory. Songs from media. Do I have some Queen on here? Any Queen on here? Any at all? Sure, I've got some Queen on here. I've got to have some Queen on here. Oh, I've even got Frank Zappa's Catholic Girls on here. And Death of Optimus Prime. Any Queen? Ah, I have one. I have Rock and Roll Party. Yes. I should have more than one, though. I should get the other. I won't be playing it, though, because I'll get flagged. Yes, anyway, so... Oh. Oh, for some reason, the cover... Oh, there's the trailer. Looks like from Super Troopers. It's probably what they were thinking of with Super Troopers. Freddie Mercury looking guy. And Bohemian Rhapsody. It's not to be confused with Rhapsody Street Kids. It's a 6-minute song. It's too long. We'll never sell on the radio. 6 minutes too long. That's that Mike Myers scene. It'll be too long. 16 years after it came out, went on the #1 charts again in the 90s. Partly because of Wayne's World, which is weird. So there's like this synergy. Mike Myers was in an interview with Steve Colbert, that Late Show, the replacement for David Letterman. And he's all like, yeah, I turned down other movie roles before, but I've always wanted to do this one because it's another movie. And then they're all, and he was in a soldier's outfit from which is funny. And he was like an old British soldier, World War I or something. And he's all like, so they called me on the telly and they were like, how'd you like to be in this? Because he's actually British, but he was raised here, so he's like Canadian or something. So he's doing on a British accent for the character, and he's all like, yeah, he's all, they called me, thought for a second, maybe I won't do it. Thought, oh heck yes, I'm going to do it. Bohemian Rhapsody, oh my goodness. Yes, so yeah, he's yeah. Yeah, there was nobody disappointed really. I think. So. Yeah, that's all I got really. It was fun. I enjoyed it. Yeah, it's a concert movie. It's if you want to actually see a concert movie of Queen, there are some documentary concert movies out there, so you can go and watch there, and you can listen to the music. I think some of the reviewers were objecting to the idea that they Hollywoodized it and changed some things around, some dates around, changed the promoter around a little bit. But since I wasn't an expert on it either way, so I wasn't really familiar with the origins of Queen, I didn't know, so it doesn't change or distract from it at all that I didn't know. So, anyway, that was my review of Bohemian Rhapsody. I go and see it. It's groovy. It's pretty. It was fun. It's not dark and sad or anything. It's fun. More of a comedy. And at least the Rocket Man movie that's coming out says it's a true fantasy. That's the Elton John movie. That should be fun as well. It's Elton John. I've got a lot of his songs. A lot more. Apparently, I've got a lot of his songs. I've got most of the Disney ones and some of his other albums. I probably have more Elton John than Queen or this one. I think I might have some ABBA. Yeah, I think I do. Anyway, I should have borrowed Jim Ticon's CD. He had made a copy of it. I didn't do that. It was years ago. I could probably find it somewhere. Somebody's probably got it on iTunes or something. Anyway, so yeah, Bohemian Rhapsody. Cool. Yeah. Actually, like the Beatles, they're still known to this day. So. Unlike One Direction, which was a made-up boy band in England, which is almost forgotten at this point. I just mentioned it. It's almost forgotten. I'm the only one because I parodied it. Yeah, they're not going to become the next Beatles. They never were going to be. And they were, for some reason, shocked that one of them was gay. Most boy bands, a lot of them are gay. That's not a bad thing. They shouldn't have broke up the band that way. I mean, clearly Queen embraced it. They're like, oh yes, some of us in the band, that way. Ooh. Also, I should point out that the song Radio Gaga by Queen is clearly the inspiration for Lady Gaga's name. It's gotta be. I mean, Gaga's a thing that babies say, but clearly she was inspired by not only that name, but also the look of sort of post Vogue Madonna crossed with David Bowie in the 80s, crossed with Freddie Mercury from Queen. Really obviously. This Lady Gaga, and a little Elton John thrown in there for good measure. Because you have to have a little Elton John thrown in there. Oddly enough, Lady Gaga, I think, is bi. She's got a boyfriend or a husband or something at this point. But she's bi. She wasn't completely a queen. She was actually. Yeah. Most Hollywood performers probably are a little bit, because flamboyant and bohemian, you see. They're nonconformist. Not like an emo nonconformist, but a nonconformist. I would be considered probably a conformist, because I have kind of the same tea versions when I go into the tea shop. My stuff is fairly not all that liberal and conservative leaning, but no, I definitely, if I was a performer on YouTube and whatnot, I would not be considered a bohemian at all, because I'm just going to go to a coffee shop. And I certainly wouldn't be a, what's that other thing they'd say, the hipster either. No, I just go there, guy. There's nothing there. Yeah. So, Bohemian Rhapsody.